Hello crafty friends, this is the Papered Chef here. In today's Brother ScanNCut tips and tricks video, I'm going to share what the pattern interval is and what it does. This is a setting that you get to by clicking on the little wrench, and you're going to scroll down and you're going to see pattern interval. Now the default setting is 1. And how do you know it's the default setting? Well, it has the default settings in the ScanNCut have a little square around them. Okay, so let's go ahead and set that to 1, which is the default setting, and we're going to see what happens when I put some eggs on the mat. All right, the reason I'm cutting eggs is I have a craft club. I'm going into the pattern, I'm going into shapes, and the craft club students decorate the eggs. They love it. I've already cut out so many and they decorated them all, and now I need to cut some more. Okay, it's on page 7 of 10, and it's called BA-A098. You all have the egg built into your ScanNCut. It may not be on page 7 like it is on mine. I'm going to leave the default size, okay, which is there because we're going to always use the default size, so we make a comparison. Okay, so one tip when you're trying to figure out how many things fit on the mat is to just take some ridiculous number. I know my mat is only 12 by 12, but let's just say I want to try to get 20 on there. This is my little tip. If you just put a number that you know is too high and you hit set, it will tell you the maximum number, which I like. So it's 9. Okay, so let's say 9. I like that it tells me 9, so I don't have to keep going up and guessing. So we're going to say set. Now look how many eggs fit on the mat. Because the pattern interval is so small, that means that when these cut out, they're going to be very close together. So let's go ahead and cut them. Okay, we're going to say okay. We're going to cut. We're going to load, and I need to cut these anyway, so I'll pause and come right back. I'm using light cardstock. It's not Stampin' Up, it's just the generic cardstock you get at any craft store. So I'm using a blade depth of 4 for light cardstock. Okay, I will be right back. I'm going to start to cut, and it'll take 2 minutes. I'm back. It's cutting the last egg. I'm going to unload the mat. Okay, so using a lower pattern interval will literally help you fit more eggs in one basket. Okay, so this is the best way to save on paper. You're going to use the smallest interval. But what if you don't want to save paper? What if you're trying to put a big space between your objects? And the reason you might want to do that is because maybe you're trying to create a stencil, and you don't want everything so close together. There needs to be a little space between them. So maybe when if you have a stencil and you're trying to color, you want some more space between the objects so the colors don't blend together. Okay, so let's just put another piece of paper on. Anyway, I'm cutting the eggs anyway, so this is good. Getting them done. It doesn't matter how prepared I am for Craft Club Day. They wear me out. I have to have so many extra things planned every time. Like next time we're making bunny lollipops, I'll try to show you. Bunny lollipop holders. Okay, so I'm going to hit load the mat. Oh, you can't see that. Okay, so I'm going to pull this over. So now you just saw the pattern interval of 1. Now I'm going to pick another number. Okay, I'm going to go back into settings, and I'm going to go down to pattern interval. It's on page 3 of 8. And instead of, you know what? I'm sorry. We need to clear. You need to delete all patterns. The reason is we can't change the pattern interval when there's already stuff on the mat. Okay, so let's go. We cleared all patterns. We go back to settings. And I just go down to page 3. And there's pattern interval. Now it lets me change the setting. When the mat's full, you can't change the setting. You have to clear off your mat. So let's just go up. I'm going to use like a 7 because I have other examples to show you. I'm going to use a 7, and I'm going to now go get that egg. Remember, it's on page 7. I'm going to get the egg, and I'll just put a ridiculous number. I'm going to say, let's see if we can still get 9 on there. No, you can't get 9 on there, right? We just got 9 when there was a pattern interval of 1, but no, it's telling you that you can only get 5. That was what it said. So we do what it says, and it says you can only get 5, so we put 5 on there. And they're just randomly sort of placed there, and that would make a good stencil, especially if you're trying to keep the colors separated from each other. And we hit cut, and it's light cardstock, so it's, again, just a blade depth of 3. And I'll be right back again. Don't want to make you wait a minute. All right, it's finished cutting. We say okay, we unload the mat. Now I'm going to tilt my camera so you can see the different examples I'm about to show you. So let's see the different pattern interval. Now this was a pattern interval of 7. Okay, I'm just going to leave those eggs there so you can see. Now we started out, when I started showing you the settings in pattern interval, we started out with a pattern interval of 1. And we were able to get 9 eggs on the mat. And that was great. And you could even get more. Let me just put something behind it. Here. You could get more if you could do additional, you could say add and add a few small eggs. So you really don't waste paper. But I'm going to be using these to wrap little, make tags, wrap nuggets, and do things with those extra scraps. I have lots of punches, so I never waste paper. All right, so this is what I want to show you. I want to show you some samples I had ahead of time because I've been cutting out so many eggs, getting ready for Easter. So here is a pattern interval of 2. Okay, so you recall that we started out with a pattern interval of 1 and we fit 9 eggs. Okay, then we went to a pattern interval of 2 and look, you get 3 less eggs. And I just put a label there too so you could see that. That's a lot of wasted space. However, it's a good thing if A, your mat's not very sticky, you obviously don't want to put, if your mat's not very sticky and you don't have a lot of space between the eggs, it's very hard to actually cut this. So maybe the less sticky your mat is, the more apart you want the objects anyway, okay? And then I did a pattern interval of 5. And it's kind of interesting that I still was able to get only 6 on a mat, what I thought was interesting, but there's just a bigger space between them. Okay, so there's the pattern interval of 2, and here's a pattern interval of 5. See my little label up there. And I was able to get 6 on the mat, but there's just bigger space between them. And then I went up to a pattern interval of 10, and I cut out, and I was only able to get 4, okay, there's the 10, so you can see 4 eggs on the mat. Okay, so this is why this is important is that you can vary the size and shape of the object you put on the mat and the pattern interval, and you'll get a really cool stencil effect. So if you want things to be random, if you want, like, say, random stars all over the mat and you have a stencil, you can put some stars on the mat at one pattern interval and cut it, then you clear the screen off, and then you randomly put some more stars on the mat and put them closer together or farther apart. You could do all kinds of things knowing this setting and what it does. So I hope you like that Brother ScanNCut tip, trick, what have you, and I hope you'll make some eggs for your Easter projects as well. This is the Paper Chef. Bye for now.